So who usually does your twice a year maintenance? Most people usually have these things serviced twice a year. 9 times out of 10, they'll usually say, ooh, I haven't had anybody come do my maintenance. I didn't even know I was supposed to. I'm like, yeah, well, it's just like a car or anything mechanical. You wouldn't drive your car for so many miles without ever getting the oil change.
So why don't you take us through a particular call? Like, imagine a young technician that's alongside of you. And I want you to kind of take us through what that call looks like, and showing them you're on a breakdown call, you're repairing it. It's now time. Like, tell me what that call looks like as far as how you get into that conversation about the priority advantage and the membership. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So if it's a breakdown call, or honestly any type of call, it always starts before I even get there, which is researching the address, looking at the house, trying to see, okay, do they have one system? Is it two systems? Is it a package unit? How old does the house look? And just mentally preparing myself for it. If it's a breakdown call specifically, I won't be pushy with the PA at first, because obviously they have an issue going on. They're not going to want to hear me try to pitch them a maintenance plan right now. They want to have cool air. They want to have heat as soon as possible. So when I get there, you have to ask good questions. Like, tell me a little bit about what's going on. How long have you guys lived in the home? Now I will sprinkle in some questions, some sneaky questions to kind of help me later in that call for getting the PA on it. So one question I always ask is, so who usually does your twice a year maintenance? Most people usually have these things serviced twice a year. If it's a heat pump, I'll say especially a heat pump, because these outdoor units run year long. They never get a break. So they're more prone to getting dirty, more prone to breakdowns. I'll ask that. And then 9 times out of 10, they'll usually say, ooh, I haven't had anybody come do my maintenance. I didn't even know I was supposed to. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's just like a car or anything mechanical. You wouldn't drive your car for so many miles without ever getting the oil changed or getting the tires rotated. Same concept when it comes to your HVAC. But let me take a look at everything, and I'll see what's going on. And as soon as I figure it out, I'll let you know, and we will come up with a game plan. How does that sound? And I say that to try to put them at ease and to let them know that I'm going to figure out what's going on, and they're in good hands now. I always try to make the customer feel comfortable and feel safe. I've been told that I make people feel safe somehow. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I guess something's working. But
well, I'm listening to what you said. You planted a seed by asking that question. Who does your regular 2 times per year maintenance? Obviously, they're gonna probably say no if they, and then you draw an analogy to a car, simple, and then you leave it alone.
Yeah.
Then you leave it alone. You're like, I got work to do. It's just like a car. You got to get this thing looked at and serviced a couple of times a year in order for it to be operating properly. Yeah, and we'll have time to talk about that. Let me make sure I do this first. I mean, that's there is so much genius in that, my friend. It's so simple, yet that's the type of thing that people need to hear.
And that's probably why also I struggled at first believing that I'm actually doing something special, because to me, it's like I'm just being courteous and respectful and doing how I would want to be done too if the roles were reversed and I was the customer, So that kind of plays into me not truly believing I was doing something special, even though I am. But
what you're doing, Jaken, and I don't even know if you realize this, is rather than being pushy, you're pulling me in. You're being pulley. By asking me that question, I'm like, what do you mean I need to have regular maintenance 2 times a year? Wait, and then once you said that to me, then you said, yeah, but we'll talk about that later. I got to go fix the unit. And I'm like, whoa. But you're pulling me in. And I know you said at the beginning, I don't want to be that pushy salesperson. I don't want to push this on. Well, let me assure you, you're being pulley rather than pushy.
The goal is to
Just
leave
for
them,
me, just from you, the way you explained it to me here.
Yeah, the goal is, I guess, to leave them wanting more, to know more about the maintenance, because they won't know it at the time, but it's going to be brought back up later in the call. So I always just try to plant seeds while I'm there. Plant seeds, and then water them while I'm working the call. And then
give me a couple of those seeds. What are those seeds?
Well, the one is like who usually does your twice-a-year maintenance.
Yep.
After I go look at the system, diagnose it, come back. Now, it could be 1,000 different things, but let's just say I go into the attic and the pan's full of water, the drain line's clogged. I'll come back down, be like, ma'am, unfortunately, this could have been prevented. You have a pan full of water up in the attic. Now, this looks like a maintenance-related issue. We could have prevented this if we had been out here, routinely to service the system. We catch these sort of things before they happen, and we provide options to prevent this from happening. That's another seed, and then I'll harvest it at the end usually.
Are you going over the benefits of the maintenance plan? What are the big benefits that you talk about for why a client should get happily involved in one?
Yeah, well, if it's a breakdown call, obviously I'll tell them, this issue could have been prevented. We could have taken care of this. Maybe I've even caught it before it finally failed or messed up and caused a bigger issue to happen. Now, if it's a tune-up call, so like a check and wash or a one-time maintenance or a safety check, I always bring it up at the door. And if I don't get it at the door, I try to bring it up 2 more times. So 3 times total within the call. But sometimes those tune-up calls can be my favorite because I can fully take advantage of the benefits right then and there. That's the part that excites me about doing the whole membership thing, because I see firsthand the money it can save them, and I can lessen their bill that's due. I can get them taken care of, and I can show them their first ever experience with Morris Jenkins
and blow them away. And then it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I never wanted to come off as a pushy person. I used to always scoff at the fact of like, I'm not going to be a salesman. I'm not a salesman. I'm not that type of person. And I don't like to be sold to myself.
Rather than being pushy, you're pulling me in. You're being pulley.
The goal is, I guess, to leave them wanting more, to know more about the maintenance. I always just try to plant seeds.